that the begotten sons of the first fruits, if you will, still have that connection with him. Again, that's magnifying his name once again. Okay?
Right.
Go on, bro. You see what I'm saying?
Right. It says, the stone which the builders refused is become their headstone of the corner. This is Yahawah's doing.
Yes.
It is marvelous in our eyes.
It is marvelous in our eyes. All right? Because through your weakness, what is it? You are made strong.
Yeah.
Okay? And when you're the Lord guy and you're doing wonderful works, that's something to marvel at. Now, if you take a guy that's strong, he's already got it all going on, he does marvelous works, you're not going to really look at that guy too tough, as you know, as a surprise, because he's already that guy. But if you take a Lord guy, that again references the name of the Lord again. So the Lord is dealing with the lowly and the meek. Why? To magnify his name. Once again, so it all reverts back to the magnification of his name. Like how he dealt with David and the Philistines and the people that he went to war against. And speaking of David, you can also get the story on that when David was a stripling. We can go into that. Since we're talking about what we're talking about, if you can, but Bashar brothers, get me that. But what did I call before for you brothers to get before? Because I know I'll be calling the scriptures, man, and stuff like that. And I should just finish them in order.
First Samuel. David was a stripper. He came against Goliath.
I've got a quick one.
Yeah.
2 Corinthians 13:8 says, For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. For we are glad when we are weak, and ye are strong.
Yeah.
And this also we wish even your perfection.
Exactly, because see, you know, we all complain in our state, oh, I don't have, you know, certain, like every brother's got their own situation. You know, or I can't speak like this brother, you know, or I wish I looked a certain way, or I wish I had my own crib, or whatever it is, right?
So Tula.
Yo. oh, I'm sure I'm not tall enough, or whatever situation it is, right? We ain't got to be worrying about that, because like I said, the Lord is doing this for a reason. Okay? And the reason is simply for this is that the Lord is dealing with the lowly and the meek. In order for the Lord to deal with you, you have to be broken, you have to be the lowly. That's why it says in the scriptures, the Lord dealing with a man with a contrite spirit. Okay, a man that is basically lowly, man. That's who the Lord deals with. The Most High is not dealing with guys and how, you know, wives and their children and they doing good and, you know, they living high up the horse and they got the world to their, you know, they got the world to their feet. Okay, if I'm saying that correct, man. That, sometimes my head tech, you know.
That's cool.
You're going, bro.
Spirit from there.
Go on.
You wanted to go into what David, bro?
Yeah.
This is 1 Samuel 16:7. But the Lord said unto Samuel, Look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth.
Beautiful.
For man looketh not on the outward appearance, but Yahawah looketh on the heart.
Exactly. The Most High looketh in the spirit of the man. He judges you based on the content of your character, like you always talk about. All right? Because ultimately the Lord, he created spirits. Yeah, he created us in the flesh, but he's the father of spirits. So he's going to judge you accordingly to your spirit, if you're one of his or not. Go on.
Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel, and he said, Neither have the Lord chosen this. Then Jesse made Shammah.
Oh, read that again. Go back up a couple of verses.
What you want me to go to?
Now where it says, have he chosen his man? Jesse.
Yeah. Then Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel, and he said, Neither has the Lord chosen this.
Oh, okay.
Then Jesse made Shammah to pass by, and he said, Neither have the Lord chosen this. Again, Jesse made 7 of his sons to pass before Samuel, and Samuel said unto Jesse, The Lord hath not chosen these. And Samuel said unto Jesse, Are here all thy children? And he said, There remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, Send and fetch him, for we will not sit down
Yeah.
till he come hither. Now he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy, and withal of a beautiful countenance, and godly to look to.
Yeah, so he was, and that's why Absalom was so perfect, just like his father. He had his father's traits.
Oh yeah.
Go on, bro.
Absolutely.
And the Lord said, arise, anoint him, for this is he. Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren, and the spirit of Yahawah came upon David from that day forward.
But check this out. He was the youngest out of all of them, and he was a stripling, meaning he was like beauty looking. He didn't look strong. He didn't look like he could defend himself. He looked defenseless. But yet and still, as it stands right now, who do we reverence? We reverence Yahawashi, of course, but we also reverence David too. A stripling, okay, a man that had what is it? A lack of a good of appearance, if you will. Okay, go on.
Right. But the spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from Yahawah troubled him. And Saul's servant said unto him, behold now, an evil spirit from the Most High troubleth me.
And you see that? The evil spirit from the Most High. So even the Most High deals with evil spirits. Somebody get Hebrews the 12th chapter. I believe it's verse 10, I believe it is. Hebrews 12 and 10. Where it says he is the father of spirits. So even the Lord have created even evil spirits, man. So if the Most High don't like you, and he sees that you're foul spirited, he can inject a foul spirit onto you, man, and mess you up even more. And that's what happened to what's his name, man, Saul. All right, and then the Most High chose the stripling, the lowly guy, the youngest out of all of them, to become the king of the nation. Okay, now the thought of that is like magnificent. Now he could take a considered or declared someone that's very weak and unconsiderate to become king. That's why you gotta read the book of Samuel, man, because Samuel is a deep book dealing with the history and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, I called for you to get Hebrews 12 and 10. It should say he's the father of spirits. Try verse 4. The father of spirits. Let me see something.
Hebrews 12 and 9.
Yeah, go on.
Hebrews 12 and 9, it says, furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live?
Right. Should we be subjected under the father of spirits and live? Absolutely. So again, when we read about what happened to Saul, the Most High sent an evil spirit to him, okay, because he wouldn't write. Go on, bro. Yeah, back to what he was reading.
And verse 15, and Saul's servant said unto him, behold, now an evil spirit from the Most High troubleth thee.
So wait a minute. Another thing got me thinking as well. So what's the deal of all of this sorcery and witchcraft? What's the deal of Esau doing all of this sorcery and witchcraft to prolong his kingdom? If they're the spirits of the Lord. Because ultimately, these spirits are going to do his bidding on the left-hand side, of course, right? But Esau's going to be destroyed. And the intent of the Lord is to eventually destroy this kingdom, all right? So if that's the case, and that's where the spirit of the Lord is going towards, then them other spirits got to follow the same lead. But they just do as they please on their behalf, on the left-hand side. So either way you look at it, Esau doing all of this sorcery and witchcraft, it ain't going to do anything, man. I don't mean to change topics briefly, but I want somebody to give me the scripture where it says, your monthly prognosticators, your sorcerers, something to that effect. Somebody give me that scripture real quick, man. That's in Isaiah
47 and
7, yeah.
12.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, please get me that.
Isaiah 47 and 12. Stand now with thine enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast laboured from thy youth.
Good.
If so be that thou shalt be able to profit, if so be that thou mayest prevail.
Right, if thou so be mayest to prevail, profit. Go on.
Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come
And that's
upon
why you notice all of their plans and what they want to do is not really working as sharply as they used to. Even their cyber attacks is floppy as hell.
Yeah.
They're going off on a lot of things, man. And the reason being is because them dark spirits ain't working with them no more. They really doing the bidding of the Most High. Go on, bro. And then we're gonna get back to the main topic at hand. Yeah, go on, bro.
Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon you.
Yeah, let's see if they're gonna defend you and prolonging your system and situating your confirming your power. It's not gonna happen. So what the Lord is gonna do, the Lord is gonna keep these spirits back, hold them back, and then basically Esau's he's going down, man.
Yeah.
His whole shit is gonna be flipped out. Okay, and we're gonna go back to Samuel's now.
Right. Let our Lord now command thy servants which are before thee to seek out a man who is a cunning player on a harp. And it shall come to pass when the evil spirit from God is upon thee, that he shall play with his hand, and thou shalt be well.
So that shows you that God is not on love, because he could send evil spirits to you. Go on, bro.
And Saul said unto his servants, provide me now a man that can play well, and bring him to me. Then answered one of the servants and said, behold, I have seen a son of Jesse, the Bethlehemite, that is a cunning and playing, and a mighty valiant man, and a man of war, and prudent in matters, and a comely person, and Yahawah is with him. Wherefore Saul sent messages unto Jesse and
he was a prudent man. The scripture says a prudent man is
wise.
He's wise, and he's what is it? He's something to the effect of prudent man. Yeah, the prudent man is well going. Something to that effect. Go on, bro.
Wherefore Saul sent messages unto Jesse and said, send me David thy son, which is with thy sheep. And Jesse took an ass laden with bread and a bottle of wine and a kid, and sent them by David his son unto Saul. And David came to Saul and stood before him, and he loved him greatly, and he became his armor bearer. And Saul sent to Jesse, saying, let David, I pray thee, stand before me, for he hath found favor in my sight. And it came to pass when the evil spirit from God was upon Saul, that David took an harp and played in his hand. So Saul was refreshed and was well, and the evil spirit departed from him.
And you know what that shows also? That shows that music can either make you or break you. Yep. Esau knows the power of music, and this is why in the music business, in order for you to make money out of the music, you have to make the shitty ass music that's going to destroy the people. Because the whole intent of the powers that be, which they Edomite so-called white people, is to destroy. Not to make things better, but to destroy. And they're proving it by the history and what they've been doing up to this present moment in time. Okay? So Esau knows, and you better believe Esau knows all of the stuff to better this earth. But he chooses not to do it. And the reason being is because he is not set up to do that. He's set up to destroy and bring forth death and destruction. That's what he's set up to do. Go on, bro.
Right. So this is verse Samuel 17:4. And there went out of a champion out of the camp of the Philistines named Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span.
Check this out,
And he had a helmet of brass upon his head, and he was armed with a coat of mail, and the weight of the coat was 5,000 shekels of brass. And he had greaves of brass upon his legs, and a target of brass between his shoulders, and the staff of his spear was like a weaver's beam.
So you got two things going on. The guy is huge, the guy is humongous, right? And he's got all of this armor on to top it off. Go on.
And his spear's head weighed 600 shekels of iron, and one bearing a shield went before him. So someone was holding his shield. And he stood and cried unto the armies of Israel and said unto them, why are ye come out to set your battle in array?
Oh yeah, I like this part. Come.
Am not I a Philistine, and ye servants to Saul? Choose you a man for you, and let him come down
Yeah,
to me.
this is the part right here. Come.
If he be able to fight with me and to kill me, then will we be your servants. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then shall ye be our servants and serve us.
When you actually visualize it, what was going on was a lot of those Israelites, they were actually scared to fight Goliath. All of them were scared. They weren't really they were thinking twice. Should we fight him? Should we? I don't want to fight him.
Intimidation.
Right. Because they were intimidated by his height and his stature. Go on.
He's wearing
all of that armor,
man.
Yep.
With brass.
Yep.
And the Philistines said, I defy the armies of Israel this day.
Yeah.
Give me a man that we may fight together.
You get that spirit,
man. Man said that I defy the armies of Israel.
God.
When Saul and all Israel heard those words of the Philistine, they were dismayed and greatly afraid.
They were afraid, man. They didn't know what to do. Should I fight him? I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to make that move. You know, you have probably had a couple of guys that wanted to fight, but the flesh was kicking in and saying to them, now don't even try it. Don't try that. Go on, man.
Now David was the son of that Ephrathite of Bethlehem, Judah, whose name was Jesse, and he had 8 sons. And the man went among men for an old man in the days of Saul. And the 3 eldest sons of Jesse went and followed Saul to the battle, and the names of his 3 sons that went to the battle were Eliab, the firstborn, and next unto him Abinadab, and the third Shammah. And David was the youngest, and the 3 eldest followed Saul. But David went and returned from Saul to feed his father's sheep at Bethlehem. And the Philistine drew near morning and evening and presented himself 40 days. That's a long time, man. And Jesse said unto David, his son, take now for thy brethren an ephah of this parched corn and these 10 loaves, and run to the camp to thy brethren. And carry these 10 cheeses unto the captain of their 1,000, and look how thy brethren fare, and take their pledge. Now Saul and they and all the men of Israel were in the valley of Elah, fighting with the Philistines. David rose up early in the morning, and left the sheep with a keeper, and took and went, and as Jesse had commanded him, and he came to the trench as the host was going forth to fight, and shouted for the battle. For Israel and the Philistines have put the battle in array, army against army. And David left his carriage in the hand of the keeper of the carriage and ran into the army, and came and saluted his brethren. And as he talked with them, behold, they came up the champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, Goliath. That's a Goliath by name.
Yeah, Goliath. Right.
Out of the armies of the Philistines, and spake according to the same words. And David heard them, and all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him and were so afraid.
Yeah, because of his stature, the way he looked was very intimidating.
And he was trash talking as well.
Right. He was picking up himself.
He was saying boxing, innit?
He was talking in his language, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had the
they didn't
spear
want it,
and
man.
the shield, bro.
And then all of that armor he had at the same time.
Talking trash, bro.
Who can take me down? Who can defeat me and conquer me?
He's in that prideful spirit, man. But, where does it say? And the men of Israel said, have you seen this man that has come up? Surely to defy Israel is he come up. And it shall be that the man who killeth him, the king will enrich him with great riches, and will give him his daughter, and make his father's house free in Israel. And David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine, and taketh away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living God? And the people answered him after this manner, saying, so shall it be done to the man that killeth him. And Eliab, his eldest brother, heard when he spake unto the men, And Eliab's anger was kindled against David, and he said, why camest thou down thither? And with whom hast thou left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know thy pride and annoyingness to thy heart, for thou art come down that thou mightest see the battle. And David said, what have I now done? Is there not a cause? And he turned from him toward another and spake after the same manner, and the people answered him again after the former manner. And when the words were heard which David spake, they rehearsed them before Saul, and he sent for him. And David said to Saul, let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight with this Philistine.
So basically, he was the one that was going to be chosen to fight this man. Go on, bro.
To show you that David, he was very open with the men of Israel. He just go up to certain man, who's this guy?
Yeah.
Chatting, he's just going up to certain guys, certain brothers say, who's this guy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he wasn't intimidated by brothers in Israel. He just go up to brothers and start communicating, man.
Right.
So they actually tell you that David went in and out amongst the men.
Yeah.
When you read Samuel, that he had a very good relationship with the men of Israel, man. Alright, so it said, and Saul said to David, thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him. For thou art but a youth.
Yeah.
For thou art but a youth. And when you look up the word youth or young, it means to be insignificant. So he was in the stages of being insignificant. Like when you read in the book of Obadiah, it says they that are younger than me have me not in Obadiah, but it's in another scripture.
The book of Job.
In the book of Job, where it says they that are younger than I have me in derision, meaning those that are insignificant. So because he was a stripling, basically he was mugger looking, like what Benjamin said.
Yeah,
and he was in his youth. So they didn't think that he could actually fight this man, this Philistine, which makes logical sense from the carnal mind. But the Lord was rocking with it. We're gonna read on going, bro.
For thou art but a youth, and he a man of war from his youth.
And he was a man of war from his youth.
Go by the Philistine.
Oh, come on, you're going.
Right. And David said unto Saul, thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear, and took a lamb out of the flock.
So this was the test his strength. Go on.
And I went out after him and smote him and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard and smote him and slew him.
So he grabbed the lion. And check this out. The animals, the size of the animals as they are now, they're much more smaller. Back then they were huge. An average lion was like probably the size of, because if everyone was bigger, the lion had to probably been that tall, something like that height.
Wow.
Right? Picture a lion standing that tall. So he took the lion and pretty much smote it.
He took
a
it by the
full-grown
beard.
lion, took it by the beard and destroyed it.
Yeah, just grabbed it and started swinging it around.
Yeah. And he was a stripling. He was a man of his youth that looked weak, but he had that kind of power within him. Go on, bro.
This is Ecclesiasticus 47, verse 2. As is the fat taken away from the peace offering, so was David chosen out of the children of Israel.
Right.
He played with lions as with kids, and with bears as with lambs.
Exactly. And picture a bear. So if a lion was that tall, then how much more a bear? The bear was bigger than that. You see what I'm saying? So this is the thing. This is the kind of power that the Lord blessed him with. That's why he was able to fight those nations the way he did, because of his strength. But who gave him the strength? It was the Lord that gave him the strength. And being that he had the name of the Lord, he had more power on top of what he already had.
Yeah.
He was unstoppable. Go on, brother.
Verse 35. And I went out after him and smote him and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard and smote him and slew him. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear.
He slew both the lion and the bear. Creatures that can devour you.
Yeah.
Okay? That have the strength of probably like what? 30 men.
Yeah.
Okay, if you were to tussle with a lion right now, that lion would take you out. Even if you look at the paws of the lion, if you look at his paws, it's huge.
Yeah.
So once that thing smacks you, you're done. You're finished. Go on, bro.
Because a lion and a bear, those are two. You got the lion comes from the cat family, and the bear comes from like the dog family. And these are two alpha
Apex
predators in their family. Like lion, you got lion, tigers, and that. And you got like low ranking, the smaller cats, like the pet cat. And then in dogs, you got those dogs, wolves. You know what I'm saying? Like certain bears, man, different types of bears. Grizzly bear, polar bear. Those are top ranking, and David was able to put down both of them.
Yep.
Bare hand.
Yep.
All right. So it says, that servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine.
And you know what, too? Could I just say one thing? Hey, brothers, man. This kind of history, to really be honest with you, right? This kind of makes you proud to be a Hebrew Israelite, man.
Yeah.
To learn this history, that this is our history, and this is why they had to take our heritage from us and have us discontinue from our heritage.
Yep.
Because of this information.
Yep.
Because if we had this information, we would be unstoppable.
Yep.
And then we would know our higher power. I just wanted to put that out there. Go on, bro.
And this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he have defied the armies of the living power. David said, moreover, Yahawah that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine.
Come on.
And Saul said unto David, go, and Yahawah be with thee. And Saul armed David with his armor, and he put a helmet of brass upon his head. Also he armed him with a coat of mail. And David girded his sword upon his armor, and he essayed to go, for he had not proved it. And David said unto Saul, I cannot go with these, for I have not proved them. And David put them off him. And he took his staff in his hand, and chose him 5 smooth stones out of the brook, and put them in a shepherd's bag which he had, even in a scrip. And his sling was in his hand, and he drew near to the Philistine.
Come on.
And the Philistine came on and drew near to David.
So they were about to clash. So then David came with the sling. Go on.
You know, it reminds me of, you know, that movie Troy. You know Troy? With Achilles, Brad Pitt. And in the first part of the movie, it shows that Achilles was gonna go to fight this big, tall guy, man. He was in the remember that part, man. And then Brad Pitt, the Achilles, he ran towards the guy. The guy was big, tall. He was like the champion of the other side. And then Achilles was kind of shorter, and he killed the guy quick time. Just jumped in and just stabbed him, and that was it. Ended the whole thing. But yeah, it says and the man that bare the shield went before him. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him, for he was but a youth and ruddy and of a fair countenance. So he took the piss. He looked, David was so small. The Philistine looked about like
he missed him. He missed him.
Yeah, it says, it looked at him and was like, what this? You know, it says, and when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him, for he was but a youth and ruddy and of a fair countenance. And the Philistine said unto David, am I a dog that thou comest to me with staves?
Yeah, he took it as an insult that this little other man was gonna go to war with him, man.
How dare you?
Am I a dog? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods, and the God of their gods.
That's right.
And the Philistine said to David, come to me, and I will give thy flesh unto the fowls of the air, and to the beasts of the field. Then said David to the Philistine, thou comest to me with a sword, and with a spear, and with a shield, but I come to thee in the name of Yahawah of
Check that
hosts.
out. In the name of Yahawah of hosts. See? So he was going to battle them with the name of the Lord. So that shows you right there that the Lord is a weapon.
Yeah.
And this is why this truth here can't be stopped. We're destroying this kingdom by this word. Why? Because of his name, man. Okay, go on, brother. We don't have to, and this is why it says in what is it, Ephesians the 6th chapter. But this is not, what is it? The weapons of our warfare is not carnal, but spiritual.
They're putting down
strongholds. Yeah. So we're destroying this devil by this word. Go on, brother.
This is 1 Samuel 15 and 29. And also the strength of Israel will not lie nor repent, for he is not a man that he should repent.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So go back to 1 Samuel 17 and 45. Then said David to the Philistine, thou comest to me with a sword and with a spear and with a shield, but I come to thee in the name of Yahawah of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. This day will the Lord deliver thee into mine hand, and I will smite thee and take thine head from thee, and I will give the carcasses of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air, and to the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel.
Oh man, and that's David talking. So as the Philistine was talking that big talk, what is it, Goliath of God? He was talking that big talk, David was talking his big talk. But what David was saying was effective in truth, because there is a higher power. Alright, and that higher power was to give him the business, man, by using a small little man such as David at the time. Go on, bro.
Don't get a scripture, man. I want all you brothers to say with me at the same time, man.
Why you waiting for that? I got another precept.
No, I'm there right now, bro.
And before you read that, I want to say this too, because you know, if you look at Esau is the Goliath. And we're David, we're the stripper.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So when you really look at it, it's like it's impossible for us to take this man down all around, because he's got us on when it comes to the weapons of war. He's got us when it comes to knowledge. He's got us on all angles. So it seems like we can't even get this man, but through his will and power, in the name of the Lord, we can destroy him.
That's also what I say. That's what we got to say. In the name of the Lord,
here you go.
Will I destroy him? All right. So it says, right. It's better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in princes. All nations compass me about, but in the name of the Lord will I destroy them. They compass me about. Yea, they compass me about. But in the name of the Lord, I will destroy them. I will name of the Lord, I will destroy them. They compass me about like bees. They are quenched as the fire of thorns. For in the name of the Lord, I will destroy them. Right.
So in the name of the
What one
Lord,
was that, Slakia?
The same one, Psalms 118.
Yeah.
so in the name of the Lord, the so-called white man and his power construct is going to be destroyed, man. And it all resorts back to the name of the Lord. That's why the Most High gave him his name, so that that particular thing can be made manifest. Okay, because it's the Lord. It's in the name of the Lord why this man was set up to rule and to cause all manner of damage as he's causing the earth. So it's going to be in the name of the Lord that is done away with. See, that's the spirit, man. Pigeons flying around.
Funny, it's spiritual. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say Yahawashi,
Because
Yahawashi.
the pigeons, they know that we got a certain spirit. on
Yeah,
us.
you're right.
They're not scared, and they're not scared of the
There's
name.
no food here.
There's
There's
no
no food.
exactly.
There's no
They
food.
come to the name.
Yeah.
The name is powerful.
That's heavy.
You gotta look at every
You
little
walk
small
straight to
thing.
the middle. You see?
Yep.
Walking in the middle.
So just like how David said in the name of the Lord that he was going to destroy him, because he had spears, he had shields, and he had all of that armor, that body armor, and he was big. The Most High still used David to take him out.
I'm going to say something because it says how the scripture says how small is a mustard seed.
Right.
It grows into a tree, man.
Right.
Where all fowls nest in its branches, man. Just showing that we might be small,
Yeah.
but we exert a power, man.
Right.
That's gonna grow into a kingdom, man. You know what I'm saying?